Cat.
Let's get ready to rumble!
I'm a bad man. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious.
I feel I'm the best ever. I broke everybody's record. Tell me who record I haven't broke.
Colossal Boxing Talk.
What's good, YouTube? This is the homie Smooth Cat rolling with Colossal Boxing Talk, and in this video, I want to talk about my favorite fighter of all time, Hammer and Hank Armstrong. Now, as we all know, he's widely regarded as the number 2 best fighter pound for pound of all time by a lot of people. But for me, and I want to say this might be a few biased reasons, but I rate him as number 1. Now, I respect Sugar Ray Robinson for his dominance, his skill level, his power, his technique overall. But I just feel that accomplishment-wise in boxing, that Hammer and Hank Armstrong did more. Don't get me wrong, he had, like you say, I mean, he had 21 losses and 10 draws and things like that. And you'll catch a casual fans now, oh, well, he wasn't undefeated, so how is he one of the greatest? It's the things he did in his career to become great. Because he was one of the guys, he dared to be great. He made a promise that he would become the first guy to hold 3 world championships in 3 different weight classes simultaneously. And he went out in 1938 and he did it. And he held those titles for a brief period and whatever. But a lot of people don't realize how big of an accomplishment that was, because at the time there was only 8 weight classes total, and Henry Armstrong, he was originally a featherweight, so he moved up from 126, he skipped the whole entire lightweight division and jumped all the way to 147. He moved up 21 pounds in weight to challenge for the welterweight championship. And you have guys nowadays, I mean, not to diss anybody, but you have guys nowadays who weight divisions are nothing but, I'll say maybe 6, maybe 7 pounds, and they're kind of nervous about moving up. But you got a guy like Hank Armstrong who moved up 21 pounds to fight the best welterweight in the world at the time, at his best, at his weight, and still brought the fight to him and beat him and took his belt. Then a lot of the press back in the day, they started a lot of talk about, well, Hank, what about Barney Ross at 135? He's this, he's one of the baddest, this and that, one of the baddest fighters in the world today. He's this, he's that. So what are you gonna do about that, Hank? And he said, well, I mean, I look forward to the challenge. He moved down to 135. He went to fight Barney Ross, and he beat Barney Ross in a great fight that he pretty much controlled from start to finish. And then he moved up to challenge Seferino Garcia for the middleweight championship of the world. Long story short, with that one, he was robbed of getting that belt. They ruled that fight a draw, and the fight is all over YouTube. I've watched it numerous times, and there's nobody in the world who can tell me that fight was a draw. Hank Armstrong outboxed, outfought, and outwilled Seferino Garcia in that fight. And back in the day, it was said that the mob that was back in control of boxing, they weren't too happy to be seeing Hammer and Hank Armstrong holding 4 of the 8 world championships in his career, so they jobbed him out of getting the belt. But honestly, like I say, with Hank Armstrong, he's 5'5". He was 5'5.5", they say, but he looked like he was. I think he was a solid 5'5". I don't see no half with. I just think he was a solid 5'5", and he was moving up, fighting. He wasn't fighting like little bitty guys. He was fighting guys that were towering over him and guys that had huge weight advantages. But he had the mindset, none of that matters, because that's the old school boxing mindset. It's like, okay, well, if people say you're the best, I want to fight you because I want to show you that I'm better. That was the mentality back in the day. It's not the mentality today is totally different. Today is about, okay, well, I'll make the most money fighting you, so I'll fight you instead of fighting him, and then I'll worry about legacy somewhere down the line toward the ends of my career. I mean, like I say, a lot of people have their own prerogative, but me, and I know plenty of other diehard fans, we appreciate fighters like him and Hank Armstrong, who was willing to fight any and everybody. He he was never the type to turn down a challenge. Like I said, he was willing to fight anybody. If you wanted to fight Hank Armstrong, he would have fought you any day of the week. He could have just fought the day before. And if you and him, y'all could get ready, he probably would have went out there and fought you on the streets if necessarily. But those are the type of fighters that nowadays, I mean, it's like it's still some, but they're becoming a dying breed. That's like you got B-Hop and a few others out there. But overall, like I say, for Hammer, for Perpetual Motion to hold 3 world titles at one time simultaneously, that was a major accomplishment in itself. And he also has the world record for the most welterweight title defenses at 19. So Hank Armstrong, he has his name written down all in history. And don't get me wrong, he did lose the fight between him and Sugar Ray Robinson. But not to make any excuses, but he was older. But in that fight, it was a close fight, but it was obvious to see that Sugar Ray Robinson was winning that fight. His length and his strength and all that, it was kind of taking over the fight. But Hank Armstrong, as he always is, he kept on battling, kept forcing Sugar Ray to the ropes, would get physical with him, and Sugar Ray would get physical back, being a naturally bigger guy. But like I say, it was an overall great fight. Sugar Ray Robinson won the fight, and the rest was history. But me, honestly, like I say, I feel with the accomplishments that Hammer and Hank Armstrong had, like I say, holding three world titles at one time, his willingness to fight any and everybody. I'm not saying Sugar Ray Robinson wasn't willing to fight any and everybody, but Sugar Ray Robinson, from what I've seen with documentaries and things like that, they say that he kind of was a bit of a diva to an extent, which is, like I say, I guess it's a part of boxing, but I'm not disrespecting him by any means. I respect the hell out of that man. And like I say, I feel Sugar Ray Robinson is the pound for pound number 2 best fighter of all time, only behind Homicide Hank Armstrong. But also like his amount of title defenses at welterweight, that's like unheard of. 19 title defenses. That's epic. That's the things he was doing were just so unprecedented. He was like he was an arrow. It's like he was way ahead of his time. That's like, honestly, I think if Hank Armstrong was alive today and was a fighter today, I can honestly see him winning titles in maybe 7 to 8 different weight classes, because just because of his determination, his passion, and his nonstop aggression. Hammer Hank, he wasn't the type of fighter who his goal wasn't to come out and outbox you and look slick and smooth. I mean, he was slick and smooth, but his goal was to come out and to literally beat your ass. He didn't come to play with you. His goal was to enforce his game plan upon you and to have you fight the fight he wanted you to fight, not the fight that you wanted to fight. And like I say, he imposed his will on a lot of guys. And like I say, in my honest opinion, I feel that Hank Armstrong is the greatest fighter of all time. And I'm the type, I'm not biased by any means, because I feel that everybody has their reasoning for a certain fighter to be the greatest. And just for me, Hank Armstrong is the greatest. But guys, this is going to be the end of the video. So hopefully you guys hit that like button for me. Leave your comments in the comment section about who you think is the greatest of all time, and what you thought. What is your opinion of Henry Armstrong? Do you feel that I mean, basically, if he's not the greatest of all time, or not even top 2, where do you have him rated in your rankings? So you can leave all that in the comment section, and yes, I will get back to you. Also, go over to our page and hit that subscribe button. And like I say, just keep supporting us. And like I say, Colossal Boxing Talk, we're here to stand. We're going to keep making these videos. We're going to keep breaking news to you, breaking news to you guys. We're going to keep talking about potential fights, breakdowns of fight, giving our analysis on certain situations in boxing. And like I say, we're here to stay. So also go over to Facebook and hit that like button on our page, Colossal Boxing Talk. And you can also follow us on Twitter at Colossal CBT. This is Smooth Cat, and I'm out. Peace.